everybody, what's up? Steve Nanny with the Steve Nanny Music page on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Even though I don't ever use Twitter, for some reason I still have a page on there. Somebody needs to look into that. Anyway, just got through with the gig last night. Got rained out. No, that's a lie. We got flooded out. I have never seen that much rain in one place in that short of a time in my life. It was crazy. So we got soaked. A lot of our equipment got soaked. So I spent most of the night last night, a lot of time this morning, taking everything out of the cases, out of the bags, out of the racks, and making sure it all works right, that everything is still usable, that nothing got fried. So I thought, hey, I'll grab my GoPro and make a video. I have a lot of people at live shows ask me about different stuff that I'm using, why I'm using it, bass amp, to cabinets, to pedals, to just tons of questions. So I thought, hey, I'll just go ahead and make a video and explain all of it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It's super impromptu, me and the GoPro, so excuse the lack of a script, the lack of professional camera work, because I'm a musician, not a photographer. So here we go. Hopefully you'll like it. If you have any questions or comments or anything, hit me up wherever you see it, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I'll be glad to answer them the best that I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll probably still make up something that sounds pretty dang cool anyway, because that's what I do. So no further ado, here we go. Okay, so let's get started. Try to work through this pretty quick so this video doesn't last 3 hours, because I can talk about this stuff all day, trust me. Start with power amps. The Mark Bass, little Mark Tube 800, the power amp that I've been using the past couple of years. It's got two inputs, two different gain structures, mix between a solid state and a tube preamp. It's got a line out. You can control the line out that you're sending to the front of the house. It's got the EQ, which usually I run pretty straight up. It's got a couple different filters or vintage speaker emulators, I guess you'd call it. Single or two rack spaces. I keep it in its own rack just because I don't always take this to all gigs. Sometimes I'll use a powered monitor, so that way I can take the in-ears if I just want to take my ears, or if I need that, I can take it, but I don't have to carry both if I don't need them. Cabinets, been using Mark Bass. I've got a 210 and a 410. If it's a smaller show, I'll just take a 210. If it's a medium size, I'll take the 410. If it's a big show, I'll do them both. The amp puts out, this is 500 watts at 8 ohms with one of the two cabinets, or it's 800 watts if it's 4 ohms, how I run it with both cabinets. So that gives me, I like the flexibility of not having to take more than I need, or if we're doing a bigger show, on a big stage or outdoors, then I've got enough to carry the volume on stage. Also, I've got this little Mackie powered monitor. All that is a 12-inch. It's the Thump 12-inch series. All it is just a powered main like you'd use on a PA system, and I'll run it directly out of my pedal board into the back of the speaker. It's controlled Bluetooth, so I can control all of that stuff from my iPad on my mic stand. It's really cool, and it's not a lot to carry around, which is the nice thing about it. Smaller venues, it works great. You get a great tone out of it. Some of the guys in the bands that I work with, they say that it doesn't carry as well as a traditional bass cabinet does, but I run in-ears, so I don't really care. Now, speaking of in-ears, greatest thing ever invented for musicians, in my opinion. Love them. Hate to do a show without them. I have been spoiled, and I will never look back. in-ear monitoring is the way to go. I may do a separate video on that one day just all in itself. But here's what I've been using. The Sennheiser EW300s wireless in-ear transmitters. They work great. Lots of range. It picks up, I mean, I don't know how many feet, but I've been a long way away from this case before, and they pick up just fine. That's the whole reason another reason I put these in 2 different cases, you know, working different gigs. Some sound crews like to have the in-ears back at the board. Some of them will let you have them on stage. It's just all preference where they want them. That way, if they want them back there, hey, take it back there. Put it by the board if you want to. Then I'll still have my amp on stage. I also have a power conditioner that I run everything off of. The Monster Power Pro 900. You would be amazed how many venues that we work at, nice venues that don't have clean power. And you know what I mean by that, clean power, if you are wanting to charge your cell phone, if you're using a desktop calculator, it'll work fine. But if you're running high-end audio equipment, PA systems that require a certain amount of voltage to them to perform properly and deliver a certain tone and high quality audio, you got to have clean power. So that's why I've got that in the rack with my in-ears. And speaking of in-ears, since we're talking about my whole rig, here are my earbuds. They are Westone UM Pro 30s, triple drivers. Love these things, you know, with the Sennheiser body pack, you know, and I've got these Pelican cases that I transport them around in just to keep them, you know, safe, because it's a lot of money to have them get damaged, and that's no fun. Pedal boards. Temple Audio is the pedal board that I'm running currently, have been for a little while. Love this thing. It's a Duo 17 is the model of it. The cool thing about them, you can add these patches, these little pass-through jacks on the ends of them, and you can see it's got some different options you can set up. The power comes into the side of it, goes in underneath there, runs down, goes into the Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2 Plus. That way it supplies power to all my pedals off that one unit. And it's really nice because you don't have cables running around everywhere. You know, it just makes for a cleaner appearance, and it just looks better on stage. Works better on stage because nobody wants to have a bunch of cords to trip over, because you know you want your performance to be memorable because of something you played, not because you fell and busted your ass when you tripped over a cable. So I'll go through these real quick in the order of the signal chain. The signal chain in itself is very important, so that's why I'm going to do them this way. Come in with the Shure wireless pedal. This is the digital wireless pedal. Also, it'll double as a tuner. Really good range. It doesn't affect the I can't tell a lot of difference between this and a cable. I mean, there is a little bit of difference with wireless, but it's not enough to worry about. I still use it. Really like it. Come out of that, I go over here to this MXR bass envelope filter. It is, any bass players know who Bootsy Collins is, and it gives it that old school Bootsy kind of vibe when you turn this thing on. You know, it really is a fun pedal to use. Only get to use it a couple, 3 songs a night, but I really enjoy it. The Keeley Compressor Pro is next. This thing works amazing. Compresses the signal. It's got the LED readout, so that way you can see how much exactly of the compression you are applying, if you're killing the signal or if you're just getting enough to even it out. I'm not a compression genius, so those little dummy lights really help me. If too many of them are lit up, I know I need to back it off. So Come out of there down to my distortion pedal. I just added this on my board a couple of days ago. This is the Aftershock by Source Audio. The thing I love about it, you can see it's got the tube heavier fuzz switch. So it'll go as distorted as you want, or it will just do what I'm doing with it, which is just emulate the sound of a tube amp, like an old tube amp breaking up, just to get a little bit of grit to it. I mainly use this, especially if I'm playing in a three-piece where it's just guitar, bass, and drums. If the guitar takes a solo, then I'll usually click this on just so it'll have a little more grit to it, a little more ballsy sound when it's the guitar solo going on. And then when he's done, click it back off. So come out of that one to the Bass Octave Deluxe by MXR. This thing works really well. I play in a band that does a lot of newer covers where there's a lot of electronic bass, a lot of dubstep sounding stuff, and this thing will emulate that pretty well. Nice thing is it's got this switch on it for your mid-level, so if your signal's a little too low, click that. It'll kind of clean it up a little bit and still give you the octave sound that you're looking for. Then into the Bass Chorus Deluxe by MXR. My favorite thing about this pedal, it's got crossover and flanger built into it, which is nice, but the lifesaver is this one right here. What that does, that's your bass control. You can affect your bass and treble separately. A lot of chorus pedals don't do anything on the bottom end, and that is they lose it in the bass. So this is really nice. It doesn't cut any of the low end out of your signal. Come out of that into the reverb pedal, Hall of Fame TC Electronics reverb. Don't know how many years I played with that reverb on my signal. Don't know how in the world I did it. I can't stand it. If I turn the board on and plug it up, and this pedal is off for some reason, first note I note it immediately. It's like, man, that sounds terrible. Need that back on. You know, a little bit goes a long way, but a little bit of reverb can greatly affect your tone and the sound that you are presenting to the general public. The last one, probably the most important one, preamp and a direct out. This is the Bass Switch IQ-DI. Love this thing. It's an AB switch, so you can run two basses out of it and switch between them here. It's also a mute, and it's got the clean boost is what I'm using that for. Or you can run a separate mix loop for extra pedals if you want to and control it separately, but that's the boost control, the mix control. There's the EQ channel. The cool thing about it is it's got a direct input, or sorry, direct output, I guess I should say. And that thing will go straight. The way I run it, I take that signal, run it straight to the front of the house. I don't send what's coming out of that to my amp. I do that from the line out right here. So this signal runs to my amp. This signal runs to the front of house. That way the signal out of here, the sound engineer he can do whatever he wants to with. The signal on the other side that goes to my amp, it makes my amp strictly for on-stage monitoring purposes. That way, if I need it louder, I need it quieter, whatever the situation, I can even turn it off and it will not affect what is going on with the front of house mix. A lot of sound engineers, we do a lot of shows where PA is provided. All the sound techs love that, you know, because I can do whatever I need to on stage and it doesn't affect what they're doing out on the front in the main speakers. So yeah, it's funny how many bass players do not like pedals, but I'll tell you, I can't live without mine. A lot of players just hate them. They don't like them. They don't think you should use them. They're more purists. They think you take a good bass, you play it into a good amp, and you get a good tone. And you know, that's some of it, but that's not all of it. Any newer music that you do, working with a couple of the bands that I work with, you've got to have effects. If you want to recreate what's happening in the studio, if you want to come close to recreating it live, so the experience for the listener is the same, you got to do it. It's just part of it. So anyway, there's my pedal board. There's my take-on pedals. So there you have it. That's it. My bass rig from top to bottom. Hopefully you found it informative, entertaining, interesting. Insert whatever adjective you want to there. That's what I hope you found it. But it's getting close to lunchtime, so it's time to wrap it up. I'm going to go take care of that. Hopefully see you at a show sometime. Check out my page. I'll have some dates posted and all that stuff. Feel free, if you want to see any of this stuff live, you're welcome to. If you want to come out and carry any of this stuff, you're even more welcome to do that. That's like I always say, we play music for free. We get paid to set up and tear down. And this is just a little proof of that today, all this junk that we carry around to do this with. So anyway, hope to see you soon, and take care.